Well, everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review It Ends With Us. And this new romantic drama is based off of the novel from Colleen Hoover, and this was written by Christy Hall, who also wrote Daddy-O, that came out this year as well. Strong summer for Christy Hall, and this is directed by Justin Baldoni, who also co-stars in the film with star Blake Lively. And Blake Lively plays Lily Blossom Bloom. Yep, that's a real name. It's more of a real name than Ryle, who's the love interest, but we'll get to that. Probably the most outrageous part of this movie, which, honestly, these trailers gave me, hardcore, Lifetime movie kind of vibes, and what I was really impressed by was, honestly, this film in general. I think there's a depth that was unexpected in how this story is told, as we have Lily, who goes to the big city of Boston, opens up a flower shop. She's trying to overcome a lot of trauma from when she was younger. Love long lost with a young man who didn't have a home, and they had such a great connection. Issues with an abusive dad. And now she has this chance encounter with a neurosurgeon, and they hit it off. And unfortunately, as their story progresses, things start cracking open and pulling that trauma back. And this film takes its time to really build that up. And it takes its time for us to really care about these characters. All of them. You have these two main characters. This film could have easily just been right off the bat, Ryle's a piece of crap and very obviously abusive. And, playing that story very melodramatically. But what is more interesting is the progression of, these two people who really love each other and trauma that is creeping up on both of them. And you have Ryle, played by Baldoni himself, who slowly starts showing some really abusive behavior. And it's challenging because the film has nuance in the way it's presented. And it has that backing of how this film built up this generational trauma that Lily has been experiencing in her life. And that makes it so much more poignant and impactful when it builds and builds to the point where she really needs to stand up for herself. And you see a bit of that in the trailer. And there's just some powerful scenes in this film. And I think Baldoni does a great job of making some really intense scenes. And where this doesn't feel like over-the-top melodramatic. Now, there are some moments where maybe some characters really over-exaggerate, or they rush some elements, or play things up a little too much. But in general, it keeps it grounded. It keeps it engaging. It keeps it raw and authentic. And, there's some moments where there might be a little tinge of melodrama because of the music choices and stuff like that are a little on the nose. But what really works about this film is Blake Lively is extremely charismatic, and she brings so much life and complexity and layers to Lily. She's so charming. Her charisma is off the charts, and that makes so much sense because Baldoni has the same. And you feel their connection, but you also feel the tension that's building underneath. And you have these flashbacks to Lily and her young love, Atlas. And it's one of those kinds of things where it's you have flashbacks, and I'm just as interested in the flashbacks as what's going on in the present. So it doesn't feel so jarring going back and forth between them. It adds layers. Isabella Ferrer, who plays young Lily, does an amazing job. And she does such a great job of picking up the little mannerisms of Blake Lively to make it really feel like, yes, this is the same person. And you have Jenny Slate, who's there as Ryle's sister and also Lily's best friend, helping her in the flower shop, and she kills it. She has so many hilarious moments, but even more importantly, there's a really impactful emotional scene towards the end of this film that really cracks open the extent of Ryle's own trauma growing up. You have Hassan Minhaj, who plays Jenny Slate's husband. He's fun. You have Brandon Sklenar, who plays Atlas's an adult who Lily runs into, and his presence in this situation starts to really bring out the tension and the dark side of Ryle, and Baldoni really does a great job of pulling that up to the surface. And I think Sklenar does a really good job too, and he has great chemistry with Blake Lively. There's just a lot of chemistry between this cast. You have Kevin McKidd and Amy Morton, who play Lily's parents, who also, there's not a ton of Kevin McKidd in the film, but when he is, he's intense. And Morton crafts an interesting and engaging mother figure in this film that works really well with Lily and what Blake Lively is doing in this film as well. This story is engaging. There feels like there's real emotion and authenticity and a genuine feeling of we're here in this with her. And that's what I think feels so special about this film, that a lot of films could easily, and do easily, fall into being overly melodramatic and making it overly simplified. This film is 2 hours and 11 minutes. It takes its time. Maybe it could have been a little tighter, but honestly it has a great pace, but it's really maximizing the time to really build up this story. I was pretty impressed by this film, and generally, I love all kinds of movies. This is probably not one of my favorite types of movies, but this really elevates past all those tropes and cliches that you would expect and offers something quite genuine and honest and moving in the way that it presents this story, and has a great cast to bring it to life. But those are my thoughts on It Ends With Us. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.